Hey, welcome back. Okay, so today, me and my father, introduce yourself, please.
Hi, Eric Harrison, retired school counselor, 35 years.
Yes, and my dad. We will today be going over my academic journey. And so many people have asked me about what classes I've taken and really how my journey has led me to where I am today within public health as a career field. And so today we're going to talk a little bit more about it. You ready, Dad?
I'm ready if you're ready.
Okay. So part one, this is part one. Part one is going to start really from the very beginning, elementary school. I'm taking it all the way back because I really believe that everything that I've done has really accumulated over time into a journey. And so here we go. Let's start with elementary school. So my elementary school was great. I loved the school and I had a really great experience. I was very involved in elementary school despite the diversity. I went to a predominantly white, you would say, right, like 90%.
Exactly.
Yes, there were times where I was the only little black girl in my class and maybe one other like little black boy. And so a very white elementary school, but I was very involved with my extracurricular activities. I was involved in lots of clubs like art club, Odyssey of the Mind, if you guys remember that club. And I also was involved in sports through the recreational department,
Soccer.
like the county department. Yeah, I played soccer through the county. And I also was involved in the before and after school program where my parents would drop me off. And I also met other kids that looked like me. And we really created some great bonds and friendships that have lasted now 20 plus years. I would say that in elementary school, I received around average grades. This is when we still received O's and S's. O's for outstanding and S for satisfactory. And then in fifth grade is when I started excelling a little bit more. I remember actually in fourth grade, I was in like the second highest reading group of my class. They separated us by colors, but even back then I could tell that they put some students, they group students together based on their reading levels. And so fourth grade, I remember that. And then fifth grade is when we actually started changing classes. So I had different teachers for science, for history, for English. And then actually fifth grade, at the end of the year, I received a perfect score on my math end of the year exam. And so that transitioned me really well into middle school. But a big transition happened in fourth grade. What happened in fourth grade, Dad?
Fourth grade.
We moved.
We moved. That's right, I forgot.
Yeah, I was
So
not.
middle school, she was at a different school, grade 6, 7, 8. But we moved, and you were still at the same school for grade 5, correct?
Yes.
We would drive you back and forth.
Yes.
Okay.
So it was only about maybe like a 20-minute drive, but it was a completely different school district.
Yeah.
Also different demographic districts. So I was now with more black kids, more Hispanic kids, and all of that. And so middle school, I went to a different school than my friends. So my friends transitioned to the middle school in that old district, and then I went to a new one. So I had to make a lot of new friends. It was definitely a transition period for me, and then tell them how you placed me in a different math class.
Well, not only math, you went to a choice school. So you didn't go to the
Yes.
school that you were zoned for because the school is a non-zone school. So it's a choice school. So we applied, you got accepted. And I think we looked at the recommendation from the fifth grade teacher towards math. And it wasn't where I wanted to be. I wanted her to be in at least pre-Oliver in grade 6. So I think I had a conference with the school counselor, and we placed you in pre-Oliver in grade 6. Because my thinking as a school counselor, I wanted her to get as many high school credits in middle school before she went to high school.
And so that class was difficult. I'm not going to lie. I remember struggling a little bit because I don't remember always enjoying math, but I got through it. And so I remember even a conversation that sixth grade teacher had with me. I had received a C, I think, like an 80 or something on an exam. And she told me, maybe you're not cut out for pre-algebra, or maybe you don't need to be in this class. Of course, I told him. Of course, he did not like that. Of course, he went and talked with her. And I eventually ended up excelling through a couple of, after school tutoring appointments and maybe even before school. But I'm glad that I had that push early on because that really set up my trajectory for later on in middle school, my math trajectory. I went from pre-algebra to algebra and then to geometry
Yeah, so
in eighth grade.
yeah, pre-algebra in grade 6, you had algebra 1 in grade 7, and 8th grade you had geometry. So you had 2 math credits in middle school, not counting the world language.
Yes.
And I'm thinking about advanced diploma, more credits, more requirements. So we want to get an early start. So when she got to her junior, senior year, she could choose more electives, things that she was interested in versus in having to take the cores because she had taken all those cores early on.
Yes. Okay, we're going to get to high school though. But just staying still with middle school, I was very involved, once again, in yearbook club, in National Junior Honor Society, just a lot of different clubs. I really kept myself busy. I think that was a gift and a curse. A little bit later on, I was very busy. But I enjoyed just those groups and those clubs and those activities. So like we mentioned about math, I was always ahead, like 2 years in math, basically. And then with foreign language, I decided to take Spanish 1 in 8th grade. So that also was a high school credit that I received going into high school my freshman year. I also took like art class as well, but I enjoyed Spanish actually. And so I just wanted to continue on, and why not take a whole year of it now instead of waiting for later. He also made me take the PSAT in 8th grade. I don't personally remember taking the PSAT, but I guess I did. So just once again, like trying to stay ready and on the path towards college.
And it's practice. Practice makes perfection. So practice as early as you can, so that when you get ready to take the SATs or ACTs, that you're not going to do very well on.
Yeah, and I was able to take because I had already taken geometry, right?
Correct.
And is that the highest math that the SAT goes up to?
Pretty much so, yeah.
Okay, so you at least need geometry to take the SAT. So now let's go to high school. High school was interesting. I transitioned pretty seamlessly because, as my dad mentioned, that was a choice school. So a lot of kids after that middle school went to various high schools within the district. And so a good amount of my friends, we went on to high school together. And those friends that I mentioned, we took the same class. So we were all 2 years ahead in math. We were all getting mostly A's and B's, taking advanced courses and really on that track to continue that within high school.
And one AP course.
So let's get into that.
In 9th grade.
So yes, freshman year, he did make me take my first AP class, AP Advanced Placement, right?
Advanced Placement, yeah.
Yes, I took AP Human Geography. That was not a good idea in my opinion at the time. Going straight from middle school, to a AP level history class was really interesting. It was a lot of coursework, a lot of exams, and a lot of independent study that I believe was the expectation, but that was not, my norm coming from middle school. So,
but you did well at it.
I did well eventually, but there were definitely tears and definitely, stressors that, arose from that class. But that was the only AP class I took in 9th grade. But I did take honors levels courses such as honors English.
You're already in math.
Yeah, I was already in Algebra 2 Trig at the time. And Algebra 2 Trig was considered an honors class as opposed to just Algebra 2.
Yeah. And normally juniors would take that course.
Yes. So or once seniors. Again, 2 years ahead. So there were like juniors, there were upperclassmen in my math class. And it wasn't really that intimidating, I would say, because I had friends in those courses as well. I'm not sure if they maybe just like tried to stick us together because we were the young kids in like a junior level class. But it was not that difficult. I've always been very open to going before school, staying after school. I'm going to get the help that I need. I'm going to talk to the teacher. We're going to sit down and figure this out. I've never been opposed to that. So that was necessary at times, but it was not, I would say, a struggle to get through that class. So if we move on to 10th grade, I didn't take any AP classes. I was scarred from AP Human Geography, okay? I didn't want to take any more AP yet. And I believe even at that time in 10th grade, the only AP would have been...
I don't think it was... You didn't have any available, I don't think.
Right. There may not have been many available.
But you took honors courses.
Yes, I didn't really want to go out of sequence because I liked being with the friends that I came in with and us taking similar classes. Even if there were different teachers, I kind of liked sticking together, So I didn't really want to go off the beaten path too much. I really enjoyed my biology class taught by a black woman who I later took AP biology with in 12th grade. And so I had a great time in 10th grade, just still navigating high school, but still challenging myself definitely with those honors classes and, like, of course, a full schedule. And then we can move on to 11th grade. Things got interesting in 11th grade as I was beginning to really look at career paths. I was beginning to think, what do I want to do long term? What do I want to do for my job? And so that's when pharmacy really sparked my interest. I knew I always had an interest or a passion for the health professions, but didn't really want to like go to medical school. I remember seeing like my grandpa would take a lot of medications as a diabetic, and so pharmacy and like medication and like that kind of chemistry interest me. I ended up taking chemistry in 10th grade, I believe. What was it, 11?
I think you took ninth grade.
Yeah, 11th grade.
Probably 11.
Because 10th grade was biology, 11th was chemistry. So I also enjoyed chemistry. And so I was really interested in pharmacy. And our, what you call it, a vocational technical school?
New Horizons.
Yes, New Horizons was our like district-wide, but also across multiple districts, like our vocational technical school. So they had everything from cosmetology to carpentry to automation, and their newest program that year debuting was their pharmacy technician program.
Correct.
And so I was super excited.
You were a junior.
I was a junior. I was super excited. I applied. We went to the little like orientation. It was like amazing. So half of my day, junior year, I was bused to the technical school where I did my pharmacy technician classes. Right. And the other half of the day, I was at my home school, the high school, where I did my regular English, math, history, science. And I will say in 11th grade is when I first took AP, AB calculus. So like calculus 1 for some folks. Right. That was also a doozy. I was not a big fan of calculus. Wasn't even a fan in high school or college. But also, once again, going before school, staying after school for those tutoring sessions when needed, because I wasn't at my school all day. Now, Dad, tell them about the classes that I kind of skipped out on 11th grade, like those college readiness classes.
Yeah, like so the PSAT prep or SAT prep, you didn't take those because you didn't have room in your schedule. Right. Because half of the day you were at New Horizon. And I would say her class was the first class to do the New Horizon Pharmacy Tech program, and she did it as a junior. I think now you're a senior, but she did it as a junior. The interesting thing is she was a young junior. Yeah. So she graduated high school at 17, so she completed the Pharmacy Tech program at 16, and then when she tried to work at CVS or Walgreens, she was too young. Exactly. So she had the state certification, but she could not work in the field.
Right, because in the state of Virginia, and probably most states, you have to be 18 to actually work in a retail pharmacy, but you can take the exam whenever. So I passed on the first try and became state certified at 16, and my license would just collected dust in my closet because I never got to actually use it. But 11th grade was great. Junior year, became even more involved in clubs and extracurricular activities. I was in Student Council Association, was the treasurer, Key Club, Operation Smile, National Honor Society. I think I was even on Principal's Advisory Board. I was very involved.
You went to Unitown too, didn't
you? Unitown, yes. I even went to Inclusion Club. Like they had like a weekend getaway, and then I was eventually in Inclusive Club, talking about diversity, equity, and inclusion from a very young age. I felt that program was ahead of its time. Thinking about, all the DEI stuff out right now. And so those involvements, I think, kept me busy. But my schoolwork kept me busy as well. This was also taking AP English 11. That was a little bit rigorous as well for me. Looking at, how to write papers, how to cite, all those things, like really expanding my vocabulary as well. So 11th grade was 2 AP classes, I would say. AB Calculus, and then also AP English 11. Now, the pharmacy technician course, I loved it. I excelled in it. It was amazing. And I would recommend it to folks, as my dad mentioned, probably your junior year, though, because it really is a course that's prepping you for the workforce. It's prepping for you to go out to CVS and get a job immediately. That wasn't my case. I still had 1 more year of high school left. But for someone to take that as, a career plan, I think that's a great and really smart move to do.
Yeah, but the point is, I think now it's only, I think you only take it as grade 12.
Right. And they probably realized that kids were like me,
Yeah.
just, of course, getting that knowledge, but then you still have a year of high school left to do. So it's really going to fly out the window eventually. And it really won't be as useful as it maybe could be. And now we're going to wrap up with really grade 12. Grade 12 was a lot. You want to first talk about how I applied early to colleges and how we visited?
Yeah, so our goal was to apply to at least 5 to 7 colleges before November 1st. So we did early admissions program. So we visited several colleges: VCU, Shenandoah,
UNC
Chapel Hill. There were probably some more we visited. I can't remember, but you got accepted to
4 out of 5.
4 out of 5. You could talk about the school you did not get accepted to.
Yes.
And keep in mind, you had a 4.0 plus GPA with decent SAT scores, but you still didn't get in. And 5 or 6 AP courses, but you still didn't get in.
Yes. So we'll talk about college for a little bit, the colleges. Once again, I was on that pharmacy track. I was gung-ho, I'm going to be a pharmacist. And so, I guess not really like ignorance, but just like lack of knowing, I was really looking for schools that proclaimed to have a pre-pharmacy track, like a pre-med track. But now looking back, you can go to any undergraduate school. You still have to apply to schools that have an actual pharmacy school to get a PharmD upon completion. But at the time, I just wanted to be on that pre-pharmacy track. And so I only applied to schools that had a pre-pharmacy program, like Hampton University.
I forgot about Hampton, yeah.
Yeah, Hampton University. He's an HU grad.
Whoop, whoop.
Hampton University, Shenandoah University, UNC Chapel Hill, Virginia Commonwealth University, and Shenandoah University. I did not, and Campbell University. So maybe I applied to 6 schools. I did not get accepted into UNC Chapel Hill. I was heartbroken because I also had a friend who lived in North Carolina at the time. We had kind of made plans to go together and room together, but that didn't work out for me. She did go on to Chapel Hill, though, and had a great experience. I think part of that was because I was an out-of-state resident, and we know that state schools have to accept so many in-state residents. But that was okay. It worked out for the best. I ended up attending Virginia Commonwealth University. But we'll get into college in part 2. But let's stay on track with 12th grade. 12th grade, I took 4 AP classes. That was a lot. I'm not going to lie.
What order?
I took AP Statistics, AP Psychology, AP Biology, and AP English 12. Now, statistics was interesting to me, and that was also kind of a turning point in my math career. I excelled a lot more going the stats track than I did like the calculus track. So some of my friends went on to part 2 of calculus, and I decided BC calculus, and I decided to go on to statistics, which I really appreciated because I've now taken, as you all know, within public health, I've now taken probably 5 different statistics courses that have all just built upon one another. So that was a great decision that I made even back then. Although I was in 4 AP classes, I was still ridiculously busy. I think I added a couple more club involvements onto that list that I mentioned earlier. But I really was preparing for college. I was also applying to many scholarships at that time. I believe I had a free period or so as a senior that had more than enough credits to graduate.
Oh, yeah.
I had a couple of free periods. So during those free periods, I was spending my time applying to scholarships because I knew that I needed some money to go to college. And I knew that as much free money that I could gain, I was trying to do that. So I really focused my time and my efforts on local scholarships. Those $1,000, $500 really added up. And I was even able to renew some of them over time. After I even got into college, I was continuing to check in with some of those organizations, and they were following up with me as well. I was able to even get additional payments that I was able to put toward college.
I would say your first year at VCU, scholarship paid.
Yes.
Yeah, because we had a routine. We would do as many scholarships. We probably did over 40.
Yes, probably over 40 applications. And I would say I got about a third of them. Now, also context, we come from a very kind of small town, 4 high schools, not a really huge population, but those kids, just like me, were out there applying for those scholarships. And so we were all kind of really hustling to see what money we could gather for college. And yeah, overall, that was my high school, really elementary from high school journey. Anything else to add about high school or the end?
Just that you started at one elementary school.
Yeah.
We moved. You finished the elementary school in that we'd already moved to another city. Did middle school at another school, a choice school. Did well there, and then went to high school and excelled and did very well in high school, which will prepare you for part two.
Yeah.
Your graduate degrees from the other schools that you attended and graduated from.
Yeah, so stay tuned for part 2 where we're going to do undergrad, master's, and now my doctoral journey as well. So see you next time. Bye. Please. How do I stop this?